My spiritual master, he is calling.
He said that he would like to go to America.
I said, are you crazy? The old man, you are going to die.
Someone told you the story, you wouldn't believe it.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
He's 70 years old, he has no money, he's starting an effort, and it turns into an international movement.
Everyone is thinking, I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm European, I'm Australian, but I'm not this body. I am spirit soul.
He looked like the Prime Minister of the galaxy.
Prabhupada was quite unlike any teacher we'd ever known. There was no gap between what he spoke and what he lived.
The Vedic scriptures gave some sort of backbone to my life.
People were joining left and right. Everywhere people went, there were Hare Krishnas.
Many would consider members of the Hare Krishna sect to be dangerous religious fanatics, but the Krishnas say they're simply misunderstood.
People would kidnap us and try to deprogram us.
The more he got attacked, the more energized he became. Prabhupada loved a good fight.
He was actually bringing some kind of ray of light to the right place.
In the late 1960s, in the heart of the Midwest, while the rest of America was continuing to grow in industry, commerce, and business, the youth of America sought answers. Not to grow prosperous and influential like their predecessors, but to get to the root. What was the reason for all of this? With the Vietnam War storming on, with seemingly no end in sight, teenagers and youth around the country were asking, why is this happening? Where do we come from? Is there a God that is in control of all of this? Many people took shelter of a variety of things such as drugs, alcohol, music, sex, but nothing brought them the answers to their burning inquiries into the absolute. The Ohio State University was no exception to these inquiries, and in the May of 1969, an event would take place that would shift the course of this Midwest college forever. In 1965, in the spirit of Lord Chaitanya, 500 years ago, Srila Prabhupada boarded a freight ship in Kolkata to make a landmark voyage bound to New York City. His aim was to spread Krishna consciousness and the Mahamantra throughout the Western world. With $7 to his name, a foreign religion to impart to 1960s America, and clocking in at 69 years old, this was an uphill battle. Nevertheless, he spent the next several years empowering a passionate and ever-growing group of disciples as they spread his message from the Lower East Side of Manhattan all across the country. Prabhupada's growing popularity among the counterculture attracted poet, philosopher, and writer Allen Ginsberg, revered as one of the top leaders of the hippie movement. This connection led to one of Srila Prabhupada's first exposures to the youth of America and their receptivity to Krishna consciousness. Here is the letter written by Srila Prabhupada to Hayagriva and Pradyumna, informing them that he would come to Columbus and conduct programs over the course of a week. Little did they know that this would plant the seed for a community that still thrives to this day and will continue for the next 10,000 years.
First time I came to the temple here, It was actually early morning. It was a Saturday morning, early morning, and it was a few months actually before Prabhupada actually came here. And I was walking home from visiting a friend. The distance, I could hear kartals, but I didn't know what kartals were then. I could hear this chiming, ching, 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 and my inner consciousness seemed to grab a hold of that, and I started following the sound. And I was actually on Indianola. I could actually hear the sound from the kirtan from Mangalartik. And that's where Prabhupada stayed. I think he stayed in that front room there. So we were all excited about Prabhupada coming. And the day that he arrived, I think it was like the end of the week. It was like towards the weekend when he came, on Thursday or Friday. So when he came, the yard was full of people. And so was the porch. And they actually had speakers out here, so you could hear him chanting from the inside. Yeah, so when Prabhupada came, they parked here. He got out of the car, and he just walked up the steps very gingerly. And people were chanting. And a lot of people were coming out of curiosity because they were seeing the music and, everything that was going on. It was ecstatic, yeah. A lot of the devotees were, jumping up and down, Haribo, and, people bowing down and so on. Had garlands on, and then he went upstairs, and then he came downstairs, and we were all chanting in the room there, and he just said, just keep chanting. So we chanted for quite a while, and then he started speaking and just talking about how excited he was to be in Columbus, and how proud he was of Harigriva and Kirtananda, and telling us about New Vrindavan. And the evening went really quick, He was very excited about New Vrindavan, sure. And that was his first farm community, and, at the time that's what resonated with me quite a bit. It was just his energy, his aura that he had. He was just magnanimous. And I know the first time I sat there and watched him and was listening to him, I thought to myself, golly, I just want to be like him. I just want to believe like him. I want to have faith like him. I want to know God like him. I was just sitting there thinking that way. And I'm sure everybody else that was there had their own particular rasa going on with Prabhupada. But yeah, it was just a spontaneous emotional eruption that he was able to carry on. And plus, the people that were cultivated at the time, the people that were cultivated by devotees, so they were out on High Street passing out flowers, inviting people to feasts, things like that. So there was already a nice congregation of people just coming to take prasadam and visit the devotees and be part of the bhakti culture, And like I say, once Prabhupada left here, a lot of people left with him. There was a point where just Jananivas and I lived here, and some of the people that lived here that I can remember is Akhilananda. Akhilananda, he was Bhakta-Al, and Mangalananda was here. I wish I would have had a camera. I mean, this meeting would have been totally different. We could actually see pictures and things. But at the time, who would think about where this was going, To me, at the time, I was going and, visiting various other spiritual groups, So when Prabhupada came here, his first Bhagavad Gita class was chapter 4, verse 1. I remember he used that as his first lecture here. If you want to walk around the back, there's actually a porch back there where we would sit. Yeah, and Prabhupada used to come and sit out here. A lot of times when Prabhupada would go to a temple, he'd go and stay somewhere else and then come visit the temple and do his lecture and whatever. But he actually stayed here.
On the night of May 12, 1969, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and poet Allen Ginsberg filled a campus auditorium at The Ohio State University in Columbus to twice the capacity. About 2,000 students flooded the stage and aisles, and soon after, His Divine Grace led the chanting. The students jumped from their seats, crowded the stage, and danced and chanted ecstatically to a mantra most of them had never heard before. His Divine Grace jumped up and down on the dais and threw flowers from his garland at the students who scrambled for them and then joined arms to dance. Poet Ginsberg was surprised at the student response and afterwards said that he had never before seen so many students, quote, burst out their skins, end quote, to chant and dance so vigorously. The night was testimony to the immediate power of the mantra. One can feel its power without being acquainted with the philosophy and without even previously hearing the mantra or even knowing what the words mean. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami's introduction to the simplest and most effective method of God realization, mantra yoga. His speech is an epitome of the basic principles underlying Krishna consciousness and a challenge to the students to pursue a path of knowledge which is super terrestrial.
So the rest of this evening will be Swami Bhaktivedanta will explain his divine self. Then we will continue chanting. Swami.
My dear boys and girls, I thank you very much for your coming here and participating with this Sankirtan function. The Sankirtan function, or it is called Sankirtan Yajna, sacrifice. There is a statement in Srimad Bhagavatam that Sankirtanai Yajnai Prayai Jajanti hi Sumedhasa. So Bhagavat recommends for self-realization in this age simply by performing the sacrifice of Sankirtan. The Sankirtan Yajna is so nice that at once you get transcendental ecstasy and from spiritual consciousness you try to join. Even a child desires like that. This is the effect of the Sankirtan Yajna. And Lord Chaitanya, the inaugurator of this movement 500 years ago, he says that if you chant this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then the first installment of your gain will be that all the dirty things in your heart will be cleansed. Please try to read this Bhagavad Gita as it is. It is science of God. You will understand, you will realize, and chant this Hare Krishna mantra. This Hare Krishna mantra will cleanse your heart, and after cleansing your heart, if you read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you will understand gradually what is God, what you are, what is your relationship with God, and when you understand all these things and you develop your love of God, you become perfectly happy. So we want to see you all happy. That is our program. Sarve sukhino bhavantu. Every one of you become happy. But you must take the path how you can be happy. This is the path, Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Thank you very much.
I think at that program, didn't he ask Allen Ginsberg to lead the kirtan?
Yes.
Because this is really amazing. See, Prabhupada is inclusive. He wants to engage people. He wants to get everyone involved. And so he could have led the kirtan. Or he could have asked the devotee to lead the kirtan, but he asked Allen Ginsberg to lead the kirtan. And actually there's a clip of Allen Ginsberg on a national show by a gentleman called William Buckley Jr. And he he is a conservative. He was a conservative, a commentator. And he had interesting people on his talk show. And Allen Ginsberg came on the talk show, and he took out his, during the conversation, Allen Ginsberg took out his a little harmonium. You seen this clip? Yeah. And he started chanting Hare Krishna right there in front of William Buckley Jr. So anyways, Allen Ginsberg was really ready to put his reputation on the line to help Srila Prabhupada. He helped Prabhupada in New York City. Again, he helped Prabhupada in San Francisco, when Prabhupada first came to San Francisco. And now when the temple is opening in Columbus, and they have their first major event at the Ohio State University, Allen Ginsberg is again ready to help. You know, this Columbus is such an important place because Prabhupada wanted the devotees to present Krishna consciousness to the intelligent class of people, and that's the universities and also the hospitals. I used to do a program, myself and another devotee. We would go to the hospitals, and we once went, we were invited to go to the cancer center in Columbus. You know that cancer center? I forget the name of it. Yeah, it's right near the temple. Yeah. It's a cancer center. But so we, myself and one other devotee, Kripa Maya, we were invited. We were traveling and doing programs in different hospitals, and we were invited to the cancer center. And we went into the rooms of the patients, and we did some presentation. And one patient at the cancer center said, you know, when you two are coming here and you're sharing your poetry and your music and your stories, I feel like a king, that I'm getting a personal performance just for me, no one else, just for me. And he said, and then he admitted that he designed the cancer center. He was an architect, and he designed the cancer center, and now he's a patient in the cancer center. And so he felt blessed that we could come there and spend a little time and share with him our talents of dramatic storytelling and music. And so we, just like Prabhupada said, that he has made us fortunate, and now we have to rack our brains as to how to help and make others fortunate. And I think in Columbus, you have caught up that idea, because you want to make this very beautiful temple to attract people to come there. And so the blessings have already been established by Prabhupada's visit to Columbus and his initiating. Prabhupada, you know, he traveled all over the world in the last 10 years of his life, so many different places, to inspire the devotees, to make sure that the devotees were on the right track. And but you know, the beauty about Prabhupada, why he was so successful, of course he was getting the blessings of Krishna, but he was attentive to the needs of the individual devotees. And so we, in this Hare Krishna movement, we have the big ideas and the big projects, but we should not forget the needs of the individual devotees themselves. And so this is I want to share this thought with you, that Prabhupada is providing the blessings not only to the big project, but he wants to give his blessings to the individual devotees. and he wants to make this Hare Krishna movement all-inclusive. You know, sometimes there's movements that are exclusive. Oh, we are the big guys, and then there's others. But no, the success of Prabhupada's movement is that he wanted to make sure that everyone was included in this mission in one way or another, to, just like he included Allen Ginsberg in to conduct, to lead the chanting of the holy name. Any devotee could have done it, you know, or he could have done it, but he wanted to include Allen Ginsberg, be part of the preaching project. So this is the best example, Srila Prabhupada's personal example. So in this thought, I take my leave. I thank you. My name is Sankirtan Das. I'm here, a long-time resident in New Vrindavan. And please accept whatever little blessings I have, I share with you. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai. So my remembrance of Columbus, which is current, you know, because I still have many associations there, many wonderful senior devotees especially, like Mother Kamagiri, you know. Columbus is a very event-oriented temple, very festival-oriented. And when they have festival and have events, it's not just for the Columbus devotees. They invite all the devotees and all the other yatras that are, you know, within perhaps driving distance. And of course, the most recent was this wonderful picnic that they had. It was, I can't remember the title, but just the title just made you want to be there. Something about barbecue and picnic. It was absolutely wonderful. There was these off-the-hook kirtans and dancing, and there were games, you know, friendly devotee games, and the prasadam. Oh my gosh. Any event where Mother Kamagiri is cooking, you don't really care so much about the event, but if Mother Kamagiri is like one of the head cooks, you want to be there, right? So they had so many preps. I mean, just so many preps. These amazing, amazing cooks. Columbus is a very hospitable temple. There's never been a time that I visited that I haven't felt at home and very, very welcome. But what's more important is that they allow me on occasion to do service. You know? I can't remember the last event. Oh, I'll tell you what it was. It was Ratnath Maharaja's appearance day celebration, right? But it was also a surprise birthday party and celebration for Mother Kamagiri. They know that had she known that it was about her, she wouldn't have shown up. She would have figured some way how to not be there, right? But what was amazing and what was very ironic is that she was kind of cooking her own feast. But it was just a very wonderful event to be at. And I was very honored to be there to help her celebrate that, along with her, you know, family members and the other devotees. She was thoroughly, thoroughly surprised and very, very humble. Very humble. I know now that Columbus is in the process of building a new temple in order to accommodate more, not just devotees, but more prospective devotees, more aspiring devotees. There will be more facility for outreach preaching, I'm sure. I just on this weekend saw Primvilas Prabhu with a group of students, I believe, giving them a tour of New Vrindavan. And so that's very wonderful. And the close proximity, of course, of Columbus to Srila Prabhupada's Palace of Gold is very, very beneficial. Very, very beneficial. And because New Vrindavan is an expansion and of Srila Prabhupada's dreams and his desires, whatever collaboration there is between the two temples can only be successful because it's all done in the name of Srila Prabhupada. Even the new temple, it's all for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Whatever we do is for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Even those of us who were not his direct disciples, but we're his grand disciples, everything is for him, because were it not for him, where would we be? Hare Krishna. I shudder to think where I would be had it not been for the fact that I met my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And of course, his connection to the Columbus Temple is also via his god sisters like Mother Kamagiri, and of course Cleveland Mother Krishnandini. So it's all connected, we are all connected. And had it not been for Srila Prabhupada, we would not have those connections, we would not have that association, we would not have that sadhu sangha, so I am very humbled and always honored and in awe and in eternal gratitude for Srila Prabhupada and all that he has manifested to preserve his legacy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
I don't remember the exact year I first came to Columbus, but I do remember coming back and forth to Columbus. Columbus used to have, I think Columbus, it was either Columbus or Cincinnati, they had a restaurant, but I'm pretty sure it was Columbus. And so I was living in the temple in Cleveland, Ohio, and there was another Mataji, her name was Lalita Gopi, and we were supposed to go to New Vrindavan. So, being the rascals that we are, we decided to stop in Columbus first and then go to New Vrindavan, thinking that, Columbus is only 2 hours, but we didn't know from Columbus to New Vrindavan it was also 2 hours. So we were thinking we would come and sneak and go to the restaurant and then go to New Vrindavan. So when we got here and got to the restaurant, of course, Kirtanananda was there with so many devotees from New Vrindavan at the restaurant. So we were like, busted. But we didn't get chastised, so it was okay. And then I remember many times coming to Columbus, but I remember when I was living in Cleveland, and this was during the time when, I don't remember the year, I'm not really good at timetables, but Malati Prabhu was first starting to come to do the women's ashram in Columbus. And she invited me to move to Columbus. I met her in the temple room in New Vrindavan. That was my first meeting with Malati, and it was during the time when the devotees were wearing robes. But I never wore a robe, not because I had a problem with robes, but I was just, a very poor devotee, so I couldn't afford to get a robe. I just, I had saris, so I always wore saris. So I told her, well, I'm in Cleveland, but I can visit. I don't know if I'll ever move to Columbus, which I never thought I was moved to Columbus. And then in 2004, I came to Columbus from Puerto Rico, and I've been here since then. Now, one of the unique things is when I lived in Cleveland, we would come because a lot of sannyasis would come to Columbus. It was the women's ashram. Malati was here, so she's always inviting everybody to come. And so this was I don't remember the name of the festival where you make a ravana and you make 10 heads. So I'm sitting on the porch, and directly across from the porch is a parking garage of OSU Hospital. So Malati had us go up on the top roof of the parking lot, and we had Ravana on the top of the roof. And then, of course, we're going to shoot him with an arrow of fire So they shot the arrow, and Ravana's burning, And, on the other side of the parking lot, there's the hospital with all these windows. And so somebody called the police. But before the police got here, we had cleaned up everything. And as they were coming up the steps, we were running down, and then we ran back over to the temple. So, of course, naturally, they said it had to be those Hare Krishnas, So they came and knocked on the door, and Malati came, and, they were talking to her, and they said, don't ever do that again, So we've never done that again, but it was fun while it lasted, I remember one year Radhanath Swami had come, and he gave this one class about the Ganga. And he was saying how we have to become like the Ganga. He said, the Ganga, if a mountain falls in the Ganga, she goes around it, she goes under it, or she goes over it. But she always remained fixed on her destination. So, I remember many good instructions I heard in Columbus, Ohio. I have many, many fond memories of living here, Radhanath Bar, and before Chota Radha Muralidhar was reunited with Radha Muralidhar in New York, I actually put him on the altar for a little bit, but I didn't want to keep him because I didn't want him to tell me they had to stay. So I put him on the altar for a little bit, and then I took him back to my house. It's been a wonderful devotional experience here in Columbus. All the devotees here are very, very, very loving and kind. And it doesn't mean that sometimes family don't have differences of opinion. But overall, the devotees here are very sweet, and it feels like family, and that's why I really like it here. One of the other things that I can say is that Columbus, it kind of has like a revolving door. Because of the OSU University, many devotees come and they attend OSU, but because they don't find jobs in that field, they all have to move away, And so that's always like a sad thing on the heart, to where you develop these wonderful relationships. And not that the relationship breaks, but, you feel separation from them, and you get to see them every now and then, and it's really nice. Hare Krishna, if you've never been to Columbus, please come and see the beautiful form of Sri Sri Radha Vrindavanatha Bara, Jagannath, Baladev, Lady Subhadra, and Shri Shri Gornitai, and Srila Prabhupada, and all the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful loving devotees here in Columbus. Hare Krishna.
Throughout those trying times until today, the devotees of Iskcon Columbus never stopped striving to create a community that holds true to the vision that Srila Prabhupada set forth. In addition to its famous festivals, Iskcon Columbus continues to serve as a place of spiritual outreach and pilgrimage. Thousands of devotees from all across the world journey to the community to take darshan of Sri Sri Radha Natabar. In addition to its continued status as the holy place of pilgrimage, Iskcon Columbus plays host to thousands of inquisitive minds, expanding their understanding of Vedic culture and practice, hosting university student groups, and holding open classes on Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures. Today, the pioneers, second generation, and newcomers strive to keep Iskcon Columbus moving forward while holding Srila Prabhupada's message of simple living, high thinking at the center of it all. It's the efforts of every individual member of the community that has kept Iskcon Columbus going and growing into 2019, when it celebrates the 50th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada coming to Columbus.